PianoFonics products have a pedagogical orientation that is out of the box. The following presentation will hopefully provide refreshing ideas for in the beginning, whether your focus is instructional materials for teaching piano or building blocks for understanding music theory. PianoFonics illustrates these two perspectives with two configurations, the piano wheel and the theory triangle. Let's take a look at the teaching pedagogy that is the framework for the toolboxes and the piano wheel. Prepare for a paradigm shift. Method books present a linear, page-turning perspective. I think everyone would agree that the four skill sets of coordination, reading, vocabulary, and rhythm are inherent in any method book that you should choose. Let's look at these skill sets in a circular orientation that is not dependent on a page-turning progression where one size doesn't always fit. The teaching tool for coordination is 12-key transposition. The teaching tool for reading is sight play with directional reading from guide notes. The teaching tool for vocabulary and theoretical development is keyboard geography and alphabet theory. And the teaching tool for rhythm is basic blues and the 12-bar blues. Address individual student differences, aptitudes, and learning styles within a circular orientation where you, the teacher, can focus on kinesthetic development, cognition and comprehension, spatial awareness, and auditory discrimination. There are three orientation toolboxes, A, B, and C, that allow a teacher to integrate the piano wheel's four skill sets with a method series of their own choosing, and thus giving them flexibility to either accelerate a student's strength or remediate a problem area with in-depth focus. Those skill sets are reading, coordination, vocabulary, and rhythm. Let's move on to theory explorations with two elements that are present in all beginning piano lessons: the piano keyboard and 5 fingers, plus a familiar structure to those of us who teach piano. Pentascales are the logical place for beginning piano instruction. Since the piano has half steps and whole steps, and students have 5 fingers, and a triad is always present within these 5 fingers and notes. This is best illustrated with the theory triangle. The base of our triangle is that familiar 5-note position that is the home of a triad. This theory triangle illustrates all of the fundamental theory concepts that PianoFonics Boom Library supports with interactive, self-checking activities. What can be taught within the structure of 5 fingers and 5 notes? Let me introduce 5-finger position theory for students of all ages from the beginning. The tonic is the first note and the dominant is the 5th note on the keyboard and also in our pentascale hand. I suggest theory can be taught before reading skills are in place. Boom Learning Cards offers 3 formats for different student levels. For non-readers, keyboard geography, dragging letters to a keyboard, and alphabet theory, spelling with letters. And of course, with notation for those who are reading. Let's investigate some boom decks that contain theory activities to support 5-finger position theory. Tonic and dominant notes create the circle of fifths. These 2 notes are easily visible on a circle without any key signatures. Let's take a look at a PianoFonics circle of fifths intro without key signatures, a perfect introduction to a primary structure in music theory when students know all of their pentascales. We're going to drag a letter to a blue circle. G is a 5th above C, D is a 5th above G, etc. These 2 tones are the foundation for tonic and dominant tetrachords. And you ask, what is a tetrachord? Let's go to Boom, not Google, to find out. A tetrachord is the first 4 notes of a major pentascale, tonic, whole, whole, half. Let's drag and drop letters to the correct key. This boom deck is a before notation activity with alphabet theory, keyboard spelling. Understanding basic concepts in theory is not always dependent on reading notation. We also have tetrachord decks with notation. Overlapping tetrachords create major scales, as our boom deck illustrates, with tetrachord chains. Notice the green tetrachord chain at the top. The C tonic tetrachord and the G dominant tetrachord overlap to create the C scale. The G tonic tetrachord and the D dominant tetrachord overlap to create a G scale, and we produce a sharp. These tetrachord chains show the evolution of sharps and flats. PianoFonics offers 8 progressive decks for drilling the order of sharps or flats. Deck 1 with shadow accidentals and ending with deck 4 with no help. Overlapping tetrachords not only show the origin of scales, but also the origin of key signatures. Let's move into intermediate foundations to complete the remaining elements in the theory triangle with 3 bundles of elements and concepts. Bundle 1, the circle of fifths and sharps and flats. Bundle 2, tetrachords and thirds. And bundle 3, major scale construction with overlapping tonic and dominant tetrachords. The building blocks in these elements and concepts decks provide activities to reinforce theoretical understanding in intermediate foundations. We'll say goodbye to our theory triangle. Students are now prepared for key signatures, scales and modes, and chords. Let's take a look at scales and modes in the PianoFonics Boom library. These decks are grouped by keys. The C deck is a teaching deck for construction of 5 scales: natural minor, harmonic minor, mixolydian, Dorian, and melodic minor, by altering those major scales that were created by tonic and dominant tetrachords. A help card is always available for any scale by clicking on the question mark icon with a reference chart that explains how the scale is altered from the major scale. A yellow emoji is a skip card feature. The final score reflects skipping a card. Boom decks for foundations in theory.